Let Peace Reign. On the news this afternoon, senior pastor at large as Rivers police arrest assistant pastor of church that hired 9 men electrocuted while installing a billboard. Airport Road uses appeal for sign to prevent accident following construction. Rivers community urge government to be swift in tackling impending flood. Rights advocate wants River State Police Command to adopt intelligence policing approach in crime fighting. Arraignment of suspended CBN governor co-accused stalled for second time. And on the foreign scene, voting underway in Zimbabwe for presidential and parliamentary seats. I am Jude Omamegbe, and this is the news.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon and welcome. The pastor in charge of the church that hired the 9 men who were electrocuted while mounting a billboard along Rumosi axis of Port Harcourt is still at large. But police say they arrested their assistant pastor of the church yesterday. The spokesperson of River State Police Command, SP Grace Iringa Koko, tells our correspondent that the assistant pastor is at the Choba Police Station and is yet to be moved to the State Criminal Investigation Department. The River State Signage and Advertising Agency, RISA, barricaded the church building and the billboard site with caution tape yesterday after 5 of those electrocuted died on Monday. RISA's supervisor for Health, Safety and Environment, Gospel Uranta, tells our correspondent that the agency has been unable to reach both the pastor and the owner of the building. Mr. Uranta says the two areas were cordoned off to avoid tampering as the agency investigates the incident.
This is a caution tape just to barricade the scene of event, to avoid people intruding or distorting information while the investigation is ongoing. I don't want to preempt the outcome of the investigation. We're taking it, one step at a time. But be rest assured that RISA will get to the root cause of the incident that happened yesterday. And anybody that, contravenes RISA rule and regulation should go in for it.
The RISA supervisor for Health, Safety and Environment said the deaths of the 5 men could have been avoided if the church followed due process.
An unapproved billboard, not just that, substandard materials were used. I'm part of the inspection team and I never came for an inspection here, which also includes other departmental heads or supervisors. What happened was an avoidable incident. Just like some people who are not into the practice of erecting a billboard. By this I mean those that are responsible, professionals who are into billboards.
And Mr. Ranta also said that churches are not allowed to have billboards.
And of course, this is below standard. Churches are not even allowed to own a billboard outside their church environment. If anybody wants to own a billboard, it should be, professionals or what we call third-party practitioners who have a lot of requirements before an approval is given, to them by the agency. But it is much unfortunate that such an incident happened yesterday because some individuals who think they can cut corners to make money.
Meanwhile, the RISA head of mobile adverts, Stanley Okechukwu, was on Nigeria Info FM's Hello Port Harcourt yesterday and spoke on the core mandate of the agency in the state. He, however, advised residents of the state to always seek RISA's consent before erecting a billboard.
We frown at anything that will cause traffic blight and even clutter with so many billboards. Because once there's clutter, it also causes traffic blight and it defaces the scenic beauty of the town. And apart from the fact that we're also generating revenue for government, we also need to standardize the practice and restore the scenic beauty of the town. As an agency, there's no month we don't carry out periodic removal of billboards. We have an in-house safety department headed by a professional. We have steps, things that you must meet up to certain conditions before they allow you.
And moving on, some residents of Port Harcourt are calling on the government to put road signs along the airport's Obirikwe Road indicating ongoing construction to help prevent road accidents. As you may know, a part of the road has been blocked due to the ongoing road construction by the SARS Junction access of the Port Harcourt Road. Some residents who ply the road told our correspondent that they get confused, especially at night, because there are no road signs. They expressed fear of accidents for drivers who might not be aware of the blockage.
Even the contractor, at least a signpost will not be bad that this road is being maintained, it's being blocked. At night, somebody coming from that Obliquere down to that side, very, very risky. Call on the ready for authority to act swiftly now before things will happen.
I commend the job going all right. It's a good job which they're doing. I commend them a lot on that. But it's actually not professional without road sign to indicate to motorists that there's a serious job as such going on, especially at night. Those are vehicles coming from the Obliquere houses, especially from that flyover part and coming down to this road. Now, as it is now, it's not commendable in that aspect.
For those coming at night, they might not know, especially those coming from Obikoi flyover, those on high speed, they will need road signs in order not to get into any form of accident.
They also complained of insecurity along the airport road as they have experienced certain robbery attacks and activities of one-chance operators. They call on the police to take action against these social vices that have made the road unsafe for drivers and pedestrians. Some residents of Opobo Nkoro are calling on the River State government to be proactive in ensuring early evacuation of residents in the communities. Their request comes amid the prediction by the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, that significant flooding will occur in most local government within River State. The residents, in an interview with our correspondent, appealed to the government not to adopt the fire brigade approach.
The people of Bubonkoro are not really prepared ahead of this flooding. There is no proper awareness campaign that is ongoing. If there is a proper awareness campaign carried out on various satellite communities in this local government, the residents will be very much conscious on this flooding. People are not really prepared. Since until now, there is no awareness to the people.
Government should take the advantage of the yearly flood outlook to mitigate and avert losses of life and property. Government should prepare for early evacuation of affected individuals, communities, or people to higher ground to avert or prevent loss of life. Better relief materials to the people.
As you may know, Opobo Nkoro, just like many other local government areas in River State, is part of the Orashi region and is prone to heavy flooding. Away from that, a human rights advocate, Clifford Solomon, says the operations of the police in River State are reactionary and not preventive. Mr. Solomon, who is also the coordinator of Defense for Human Rights and Democracy, was reacting to comments by the Commissioner of Police, Munyi Emeka, that the command rescued 8 kidnapped victims and neutralized 2 suspects last week. Mr. Clifford tells crime correspondent Emeka Otuka that the police need to adopt an intelligence policing approach in crime fighting.
It is the people that will say the police are doing well or not. The assessment should be done by the citizens and not the police. The police should up their game and provide security 24 hours for our citizens. It is their constitutional responsibility and it is the fundamental right of the citizens. It is very obvious and disheartening to note that it is degenerating by the day. Women cannot walk freely without being harassed, intimidated by miscreants in the street. Our streets should be rid of crime and criminality.
He also called on the Commissioner of Police to stop the rising cases of police extortion in River State.
Go to the streets, you see the police people taught and exploiting the Rivers people on the roads. They should keep off the road and they should provide security for the safety of citizens, not exploiting, extorting, and being criminally minded on our roads.
A former community chairman for Rumoji Abale Rebisi in Falga, Ike Wigodo, has called for a collective fight against insecurity in the state. He said residents of Port Harcourt ought to take part in curbing illegal activities by men around flyovers. He called on the Community Development Council to do work towards regaining peace in the affected parks. He said this on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire.
with situation where a lot of crime go on unabated in that areas is very alarming, and that is what we should look at. And you see, you can't leave everything for the police. The community leaders, the community within this area should help, because security is for everybody, including you. So if affects the other person yesterday, what happens tomorrow? So security is all about us. It's not only the government, it's not only the police, also includes the indigents.
And Mr. Wigodo also said local governments have failed to implement disciplinary measures on defaulting drivers who load or park vehicles around the flyovers, which has led to the flooding of illegal motor parks on the roads and insecurity, thereby terminating the main objective of the flyovers, which is to curb traffic. An aide to Atiku Abubakar, Daniel Bwala, has advised the FCT Minister Yinsu Wike to be humble and focus on the basic needs of Abuja residents instead of a vendetta. And Mr. Bwala warned that President Bola Tinubu may be forced to sacrifice the FCT Minister if he goes ahead with his planned demolition of structures in the capital. His comments followed Wike's threat to demolish illegal structures within the nation's capital. In a bid to make mass transportation more affordable, President Bola Tinubu is projecting a cost of 250 naira per litre for compressed natural gas (CNG), a more cost-efficient alternative to petrol after stopping payment of subsidies. Special advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajirin Galale, said this was part of Tinubu's very important presidential compressed natural gas initiative. Well, still to come, arraignment of suspended CBN governor co-accused stalled for the second time. Stay tuned. Three Nigeria info. My name is Jude Omamegbe, and thank you for sticking with us. The expected arraignment of the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, over an alleged procurement fraud of 6.9 billion naira has again been stalled. The matter, which was expected to be heard today, was not listed on the cause list of the High Court in Abuja, and no reason was given. But lawyers of both parties were also not in court. Although the suspended CBN governor Emefiele, who is the first defendant, was present in court, the second defendant, a CBN employee, Sadatu Yaro, was not in court. The management of Ignatius Ajuru University of Education says that the River State government cancelled the last employment exercise conducted by the management of the institution for flouting its directives. The state government said a proper and credible recruitment exercise will be conducted in due course.
And now the business news.
And now to business. The Federation Account Allocation Committee has shared 966 billion naira to the federal government, states, and local government councils in July. This was contained in a statement by the Director of Press and Public Relations in the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Bawa Mokwa. The Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission (NERC) has urged prepaid meter users to update their meters before November 2024. NERC gave the update on its X handle on Tuesday. It also said the update, which is free of charge, would not affect the current prepaid units of users. In entertainment, American music stars Janine Aiko and Big Sean are seeking court-ordered protection from a creepy fan whom they claim keeps showing up to their concerts, events, and home. In sports, Super Falcons star Michelle Alozie says England forward Lauren James did not personally apologize to her after she stepped on her buttocks at the 2023 Women's World Cup. Recall that James was sent off in the 87th minute after she brought Alozie to the ground and stepped on her. She later posted an apology via her Twitter handle. And finally, from the international scene, Zimbabweans are voting presidential and parliamentary elections after a campaign dominated by the country's skyrocketing inflation. The day has been declared a holiday to allow the 6.2 million registered voters the chance to vote. President Emerson Mnangagwa faces 10 challenges, including Nelson Chamisa of the main opposition's Citizens Coalition for Change. In Zimbabwe, a presidential candidate needs more than 50% of the votes to win. Well, that was the news this afternoon, but before we depart, a quick recap. The pastor of the church that hired the man electrocuted on Monday while mounting a billboard is still at large as RISA begins its investigation. Airport road users have appealed for a caution sign to prevent accidents following construction. Residents of Opobonkoro want the state government to be swift in tackling impending flood. The arraignment of the suspended CBN governor and his co-accused was today stalled for the second time. And on the foreign scene, voting is underway in Zimbabwe for presidential and parliamentary elections. The news was edited by Constance Mega. Mostly cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this afternoon with temperatures of between 25 and 28 degrees Celsius is expected. Please be advised. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215, 0808-721-7215. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. My name is Jude Omamegbe. Thank you for listening and good afternoon.